All right. A very good morning, dear viewers who are watching us live on Westnile television. This is the KOKOLIRIKO show with me, Frederick Dramadri, here on Westnile television on Westnile Park Lane, which is here in Arua City. So we will talk about so many issues that happened over the weekend, and those issues that we felt are really very, very touchy for the people in this region, and also those that we think can inform decision making at policy levels. These are the issues that we'll be discussing with you who is watching us live from any other part of this country, and also those who are abroad, maybe not within the country, but they are there watching us from any part of the world. First things first, over the weekend there are a lot of things that happened. First of all, today is the World Senior Citizens Day that will be commemorating with other countries across the world that we recognize the works done by our senior citizens, people who have been in maybe professional work, people who have been really loyal to whatever they were dedicated to do, services they were dedicated to do with the communities elsewhere and those within Uganda. Locally, we have so many senior citizens, people who have retired in civil service, people who have retired in other professions. These are the things that we really expect people who have retired, like senior citizens, to be doing, like maybe giving guidance and also helping governments in their runnings in terms of advisory services. We don't expect people who are said to be senior citizens to sit back. Maybe slightly away from that, we saw a lot of things in the sporting world. We saw another gold coming to Uganda, but also we saw Spain winning the Women's World Cup in the hands of England. That was after scoring 1-0. So those are things we felt we should be briefing you on. But also the Premier League continues as some teams start with bad note by losing with good, very good goal margins and so on, others winning and so on. These are the things we expect, tears and joys and so on. So those are things that will be really saying that maybe you'll be, if you are watching Westnile television, you'll be updated with them in the whistle time. But also slightly away from that, we are discussing the issues to do with health workers and patient relationship. This has been one of the issues, apart from the issues to do with the service delivery generally. How is the relationship between health workers and patients? That's one thing we want to discuss at this time. If you look at to service seekers, people who come to seek for medical attention in these government facilities, how is the relationship? These are things we want to talk about. If you, we will be also talking about Uganda being ranked 5th the whole world in terms of alcohol consumption. The rate of consuming alcohol in Uganda seems to be really alarming, despite a lot of messages that are being there to discourage people from drinking excessively. So what does this call for, and what does this mean? Well, we also saw that the High Court ruling that divorce should not really happen if there is no evidence. So what does that mean to the current trend of marriage that we have in this country? And also, does it call for the need for us to have a law to regulate the issues to do with the marriage and so on, much as we have it? But is that clause there? Do we need to include it? Those are things we want to also digest about. And also, we saw some miserable situations happening in Chiotera, where 10 people are said to have died from consuming a local manufactured waraji that really made the authorities in the district to say no to consumption of alcohol in that area. So locally here, we have seen also a lot of things that are happening in terms of alcohol manufacturing. There are people who are there illegally manufacturing alcohol in their homes, in rented places, and so on. Are these really being regulated by the relevant authorities? These are things we'll be digesting. Maybe after this break, we are going to come back and start on some of these issues.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
A brand new Global Star TV with StarTimes Inside Technology. New TV innovation with an inbuilt decoder that connects you to both StarTimes antenna and satellite signal. With StarTimes Inside Global Star TV, you can enjoy over 300 local and international channels, 1 month StarTimes highest bouquet for free, automatic system update, more benefits, more affordable. StarTimes Inside Global Star TV is available in all StarTimes branches and dealers countrywide. StarTimes Inside, entertainment inbuilt.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, welcome back from that commercial break. We are discussing about the highlights on the issues of what we felt we should be delivering to you right here on Westnile Television in this show of the KOKOLIRIKO Live here on Weda Health Park Lane in Erua City. First of all, we brought to you the issues to do with the health worker-patient relationship that we think has been one of the issues that is touching, that has been affecting a lot of service delivery in some of these health facilities, but also the issues to do with how you present yourself as a patient to the health worker matters a lot. First of all, if you look at some of the issues around this, there are people, you may even fail to come and attend to them. First of all, the way you dress, the way some people don't want to brush their teeth, some people don't want to wash their clothes, and so on. When you go for medical attention, like you need, like you have headache, and yet you also present when you are dirty and so on, smelling. How do you think a health worker will be able to serve you? This is one thing that has been there in some of these health facilities. We have had all these complaints from health workers. How do you present yourself when you are coming for the services? These are the things we feel like if we really talk to the population, this will help us improve the way we have that contact with the health workers. If you look at also the way we come for health services, do we come early? Do we present like when we have started witnessing some signs of sicknesses with us? At what point do we go to these health facilities? Do we go in time? Do we really also have that time that we evaluate ourselves as a person? Am I okay to go and maybe meet someone? Is it okay that when I go there, how do I contact myself? But also, there are people who arrive early for these services, but there are others who come late and they want to be served first. These are the behaviors that we think if people can change from them, it is very, very important. But also for the health workers, how do you receive people? How do you receive people when people come for medical attention? How do you start maybe talking to them? Do you greet them? Do you give them health education at the points of maybe, especially at the outpatient departments, the OPDs, where people first register their cases, the complaints of what they're suffering from, and also how what challenges they are facing that they wanted maybe you as a professional person to address. These are things I think when we conduct ourselves very well, it will be very, very important for the flow of service delivery. Two, from home, the hygiene that we really need to prioritize, the issues to do with personal hygiene, by maybe looking at in primary schools, there were these issues to do with physical education, the PE, where teachers go and check who has not bathed, who bathed, and who did not brush their teeth, and so on. Even the clothes, did you iron them? Did you maybe wash your clothes? Those are things they have been looking at them. But also, these are things that we can practice at home before we go to a health worker and ask him or her about maybe the type of diseases we are going through, because some of these are generated from the behaviors that we have. If we cannot really take personal hygiene a priority, then we will be continuing to go to health facilities. Look at also the issues of hand washing. Hand washing is very paramount, not only for you to consume food, but also if you wash your hands, the time or maybe you are sneezing, you are touching your body and so on, you will not really have that contact of putting infections onto your body and so on. Some of these germs are picked from our hands. Like you have been from a toilet, you don't want to wash your hands, somebody is moving with maize, you want to borrow and eat and so on. Those are things really we need to take keen. But also when we go to health facilities, let's have that, much as all of us are sick and we need that medical attention, let's also respect one another as we are in these lines. We understand that the line sometimes is very long, but also if your case is genuine and actually is really needs urgent attention, it is of emergent nature, you raise up your hand. That is one thing I've seen, especially with persons with disabilities. They have done that several times and they have been helped in time. So if you think your situation is so worrying and really needed urgent attention, you raise up your hand. The health worker will be able to see your hand and really attend to you in time. But also health workers, as we really serve the people, let's be also use that mild language. I mean, let's not abuse patients so that they may really feel like going back without receiving the treatments that we are providing them. But also we've had so many concerns from mothers who are delivering that really they have been abused, they have been insulted and so on when they go for these services. But also if really we can use that interactive and also good language to our service seekers, it is very, very important that they will be able to enjoy the services. They will also be able to appreciate what little you offer them. That is very, very key. But also, generally, if we improve on personal hygiene, if we improve on the language used during service delivery, if we improve on also some of the messages that are being given to patients, and also we take all in good faith, that will improve health service delivery. Apart from all the time saying that drugs are not there, but if you use the best language to someone, to maybe a patient, for him to understand easily that really these drugs are not here, but we have diagnosed and really tested you positive of maybe malaria, go and buy these drugs from a nearby health facility or a drug shop. These are what we have prescribed for you. then a person will be able to understand that and will really move to that health facility and buy these drugs in a good way, and will not really say that every time I come they chase me away, they don't give me drugs. Those languages you have ever heard from persons will not really come back. And also if really we as service seekers, if we go to these health facilities, let's respect the people who are serving us. Let's really not really abuse the health workers. Let's not really engulf into those languages that we have ever heard from really persons. That is really very provocative. But also sometimes health workers can get tired, and also now when you begin using some of those abusive languages and also those allegations that you always levy on them, that maybe these drugs are not there because they are selling them, they are doing this, when we don't have the evidence, it really demoralizes them at work. So let's also use good language and also have that attention really paid to them when we are giving messages. This will help in service delivery. And also today we don't want to much really dive into the issues of how the drugs arrive, how maybe health facilities look like, but we felt if we can improve and talk to the service seekers and also the health workers on the behavior of contacting business, but also looking at how really we should comply with some of the rules of accessing health services, but also how we should be able to deliver service in health sector to persons in a very good professional way. Following our code of conduct as health workers, following also the necessary guidelines that we are to follow as persons when seeking for these services. It will be very, very important. Apart from all the time talking about those other issues of maybe bribery allegations, extortion, the issues to do with limited drugs, the issues to do with with other issues to do that are of management challenge. That is one thing we wanted to hint into during this session of health service delivery. But maybe slightly away from that, we are talking about the issues of manufacturing alcohol, which is now like a countrywide thing. In this country, we have seen so many companies registering and starting to manufacture alcohol in ungazetted places. Like, where do you establish factories? Who is there to certify your products? These are things we want to talk about. Also, how harmful or how safe are we, the people who are maybe consuming the alcohol, in terms of the quality of your products and so on. These are things really we want to talk about. This takes us to what the authorities in Chotera district have said, that they have banned the manufacturing of alcohol and also consumption of locally manufactured alcohol that is in that district. But also looking at this in the perspective of Westnile, we saw in 2022 that there was a liquor that was called to be City 5 Gin, which was manufactured in along Pajulu Road. Actually, it is manufactured in it was manufactured there in Giligili, where we saw a number of people really falling to be victims of the alcohol. After consuming it, they really felt that there were others who presented signs of blindness. There were others who really whom we lost, and so on. There were a couple of people who died, like 12 people that was officially reported by police, that they were reported to have drank this kind of alcohol, that is CT5, which really affected their health, and also eventually, unfortunately, they died. But also the issue was taken to court. We don't know how far the issue has gone, but also this factory was closed for quite a while, and also said to continue with manufacturing of what they were really doing earlier on, that is wine manufacturing. So if we have local companies that are manufacturing this alcohol, what are the regulations that we have put in place as local governments to really avoid our people from consuming adulterated alcohol, but also really ensure that it is to the standard of doing the business, but also looking at the health implications of these kind of drinks. What does it mean to the country? Because just 2 weeks ago, we were for a meeting, a cross-border meeting in Maracha, where there were concerns about a gin also manufactured by Premidis Uganda Limited, a company that is based in Kuluva, which is manufacturing a lot of alcohol, which is being exported to DRC. And now DRC officials were complaining that this is affecting their people who are said to have also died from this alcohol. Do we really supervise the local manufacturers of this alcohol? But also looking at the case of Chiotera district, this is where also concerns are coming. 10 people have died. This means a lot to the country. Looking at what is happening across the country, where people take alcohol drink consumption as lesser in Uganda. This is one thing that we really need to condemn in a very, very, very serious manner. Because also, if people manufacture alcohol and it is not regulated, who is supposed to manufacture, at what limit, and what are the equipments that are needed for the manufacturing, but also who is there to ensure quality assurance. We have bodies that are being really mandated to ensure that we have really the manufacturers in place, but also the output they bring out should be of really good considerations, things of quality. We have the Uganda National Bureau of Standards. We have also the Uganda Registration Bureau, that is URSB. Also, we have the URA that is there at customs to ensure that goods that are moving to other countries are cleared, but also looking at the quality of what is going to other countries. Does it mean we have failed in the systems that were put in place? Does it mean really people are doing these things illegally, or these are in the know of these entities that are put to ensure that these things are really looked upon before really delivering them to the public for consumption? First of all, if you look at the alcohol itself, it is something dangerous. First of all, if in case you exceed your limit, that is one thing we'll be able to really face challenges with. Now, if we have this alcohol that is not to the standard, and also people continue to take it and they exceed their limit, that means we'll have these challenges of people dying from excessive consumption, but also the kind of chemicals that are used to manufacture this alcohol. I don't know if it is manufactured by this organic means, but also using these other chemicals that are added onto. These are things we really need to venture into. We need to understand the contents of this alcohol, the concentrations, but also looking at whether this within the standards that are set at national level, but also there were laws that were put before manufacturing an alcohol. You have to have a license. So are these companies possessing the licenses? Are they cleared? Are they having this in the designated places? Because if you look at the physical development plans of every local government, their industrial zones, are these placed in industrial zones? Because for the case of Arua City last year, we witnessed that this alcohol was manufactured in a home. So from someone's home, that means people are doing these things illegally. So what does that mean to really people who are consuming these things? We continue to have these issues of people dying from consuming this kind of adulterated gins that will continue to really bury people when we really much needed their attention to develop this nation. So we have to also really focus into really saying that this kind of people who are manufacturing are really certified, and also what they do should be to that standard. But also slightly within the range of alcohol consumption and manufacturing, World Health Organization has ranked Uganda 5th on the log across the world, that Ugandans are really so much into consumption of alcohol. So if you are 5th in the world, that means with this local manufacturing, we have a problem. We have all these happening places. The bars talk about the night places, the happening places that we have. So what does this mean? This is one thing we really need to understand. If you have people who drink a lot of alcohol, and we have this kind of alcohol that is manufactured locally, that means we have problems. Because if you look at that statistics, we have 85% of Ugandans between the age range of 18 to 35. That means those are youths who drink alcohol. So 85% of this population between the age of 18 to 35 really drink alcohol so much. And also, if you look at that statistics, it's breakdown. 50% of these really males, people, the males, I would say grown-up boys and so on, the young people who are between that age, and also people who drink much alcohol. Females are really just within 35%. That means most men drink a lot of alcohol, but also if you look at that statistics further, you will realize that really 50% of that percentage, which was 85, really exceed their limit. That means really we have a lot to do in sensitizing the people, in also really containing the manufacturing of alcohol. We saw Uganda doing a lot of things around alcohol control, and also consumption, and also manufacturing. We saw the cheapest alcohol that was manufactured in sachet water, in sackets, being really dropped off, but we continue to see this in public. This was really one thing the authorities, I mean the policymakers, felt if it is avoided through increasing people to drink maybe alcohol from bottles, the prices, one, will increase, but also the issues of controlling the impact of environmental degradation that is posed by the rampant spread of sackets, I mean the caveras, will be something that will be there to reduce this. But we have seen most of these manufacturers violating this directive that was put, but also they continue to manufacture these drinks in sackets. So that means we really need to start enforcing our laws, but also ensure that the time for consuming alcohol is regulated. Much as it is there in law, we have an Nguli Act that says before someone starts maybe brewing Nguli in his or her home, you have to get a license. You should be cleared from the sub-county. But also the LC1 should be able to report these kind of people before they start brewing Nguli. So how many people have these certificates from the sub-counties that we have in our local governments? How many do have this? But also how many are able to start selling Nguli after lunch? Okay, we are supposed to start seeing people drinking alcohol from the hour of 5 to 8 p.m. Is this being regulated? It's not. We have seen people drunk at workplaces at around 8 a.m. So this is something that is really touching. We need to dive in and also start preventing this, because drinking this alcohol is not also something that is there for leisure, but also it is harmful to your health. We have seen media houses being banned from promoting the manufacturing, the sale, and also drink consumption of alcohol. This was one thing that government took strongly to control the spread or the consumption of alcohol. But media houses have really done much into this. But what about the people at community level who continue with the manufacturers and the sellers to violate these vices? If media houses are able to comply, how about the manufacturers? How about the people who are there to sell this alcohol that has been manufactured? Can we also really have to dance to the strict guidelines to that, and also start arresting whoever is promoting the sale and the manufacturing of this waraji and also the gins that we have in public space that people are drinking from morning up to sunset and also throughout the night? Can we regulate that? If we have the laws, how about the enforcement? What is the challenge in enforcing this? If media is being controlled and they are able to abide by this, how about the people out there who are really doing this in their own ways and also all those directions? Yet we have the local governments who are in the know of this. We have people who are taxing these manufacturers. What mechanisms do they have to put in place to regulate some of these cases of really people consuming alcohol at a wrong time, but also manufacturing alcohol that is not really to the taste of the entities that are regulating this? What has happened to this? And also, really, do we have those authorities that are regulating this at every region? We have UNBS that is settling at Gulu or Lira, where their head offices are for northern region. But we have seen people crying that really this needed to be, these offices needed to be at every sub-region. Like Westnile doesn't have this. So why do you think this may not persist? This is one thing really we need to really take a leaf from. We saw a lot of things coming about the issues of adulterated gins, alcohol being manufactured, but really, as we talk on paper, as we talk on maybe TVs and so on, let's come back down and also do enforcement before really we lose most of the young people. Because if you look at the age range between 18 to 35, that means people are really, most of these are young people. So if young people really get to this alcohol in large numbers like that, at that percentage of 85, that means we will lose half of this, 75% of the population in the country. That is quite unfortunate. If we really need to curtail that, we need to open up and start really seriously enforcing on some of these laws. We really need not to add more laws, but if we can enforce the available laws that we have, including the Public Health Act, the laws to do with also the manufacturing of alcohol, also the local content and those other laws that we have in this country. We have so many of them, but really enforcement is a challenge. It's not that police is to be the forefront in the enforcement, but also we have the local leaders. We have the LCs who are the first security persons, including their health teams, like the village health team members, who are the first people to really identify who is manufacturing maybe a local gin in a place and so on. They know them, but what is the challenge of reporting this to higher authorities in case maybe you fear to do this? We have the Whistleblowers Act that will protect you. You can bring the message, and really this needed to, this if taken in good faith and worked on, we'll have a few factories that will be manufacturing this alcohol, and the alcohol that will be manufactured will be of that quality that may not really kill people. But also, if we go on to regulate the number of times people consume in a day, I mean like the time of consumption. If people have that time, maybe we start consuming alcohol after work, like 5 p.m. to 8, and we stick to that, we'll have a lot of changes into this, and also we'll have a good impact into that. What we need to take from that kind of ranking is that we're doing really worse as a country. in relation to really protecting our people from getting dangerous diseases like the diabetes. We have been talked about the issues of liver malfunctioning. These are the things that we have been talking about. Diseases that we can get from really too much consumption of alcohol. These are things we really need to really do a lot if we want to save our people and also save the nation as something that will really develop so much, because the young people have the energy to really develop this nation by the energy that they have. If we put it in the right use and really avoid the consumption of alcohol, that will be a very, very good thing too. If we take the enforcement seriously, that is one thing that will be of good importance. But also, I want to implore the local people, the communities around these manufacturing places. We have the case of also people manufacturing herbal medicines that are not regulated. We have these issues of people manufacturing warranties, wines, nguli, and so on. All these in communities, they are happening, but people are not reporting, because if you report, you should really report it in a very good way and following the rightful channels. And also, after reporting, don't say I was the one who reported you because you have been here manufacturing it and I want to report you. That is very, very bad, because it will turn back to you as the person who really blew the whistle. So let's be also so much confidential, because the manufacturers, most of them are people who have the money to do anything. So life matters. If as you save the lives of other people, let's be also really saving our lives as individuals who report these cases. You can report to the police, you can report to trusted local leaders. I mean the politicians who are trusted, who are really doing service to the people who really want development in their places, not these ones who align with those who are manufacturing this warranty. But also you can go to the resident district commissioners. Also you can go to the community development officers who are there in community services department, who are able to really dive into some of these issues to save the lives of the people. But also, if you cannot do that, you can go direct to the health officers and report some of these issues if the local governments cannot do this. But also, you can also move to police, just like I said. These are very important. If you can exchange information in time and also really make sure that we save the people from consuming this kind of things earlier, then it is very, very important. Let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll be able to discuss about the ruling on divorce and also whether we really need a law to regulate divorce and also to curtail these issues of divorce and also the issues of adultery, people marrying other people's wives. Is it legal right? Is it something that is good in our societies? But also, how do we go about it? Is it good for you to date my wife? So those are things we'll be talking after the break. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll be discussing that. Thank you.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
brand new Global Star TV with StarTimes Inside Technology. New TV innovation with an inbuilt decoder that connects you to both StarTimes antenna and satellite signal. With StarTimes Inside Global Star TV, you can enjoy over 300 local and international channels, 1 month StarTimes highest bouquet for free, automatic system update, more benefits, more affordable. StarTimes Inside Global Star TV is available in all StarTimes branches and dealers countrywide. StarTimes Inside, entertainment inbuilt.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, welcome back from that commercial break. It is a surprise that I've received my colleague Faris Majid, who has popped in just subtly. Maybe Faris, you're most welcome.
Thank you, Frederick.
Right.
Good morning to you, our dear viewer, Frederick. I had a wonderful weekend. Let me hope you also had the same.
Yeah, Faris, there were a lot of things. Just like the way I told you earlier on to the viewers that really we had a lot of excitements from sports world, where Uganda was able to come with the gong, and also Spain taking it in the hands of England. So that was one thing that I felt was so exciting. But also there were also things around the dialogue, the health dialogue that was hosted at radio parties about rural districts, performance in the health sector and so on. There were so many interesting things that came out from that. And one thing that I picked was, just like I discussed, the issues to do with the health worker-patient relationship that I saw was really a great challenge in most of these health facilities that people were really trying to dissect with the health workers about that. Maybe Faris, yes, you are so much welcome at a point when I was discussing about Uganda being ranked 5th on the issues to do with consumption of alcohol. Maybe do you drink, and also what do you make of this ranking?
Personally, I do not drink, but we all know how the rate of alcohol consumption among Ugandans. We know it because every day we are seeing trucks of carrying alcohol entering, and that means that the rate of consumption among alcohol is still very much among the people. True. And how do you witness this? If you move to the happening places at night, you will tell how much people are consuming. Somebody drinking over 20 bottles, purchasing over crates, so you could tell how much people are drinking alcohol in Uganda. So I think the statistics do not lie. That survey must be authentic, I believe. This is because I just have a feeling that the rate of alcohol consumption in Uganda is very much high. I happen to have lived in one of the places, one of the slums. There I also got to realize that so many people are relying on alcohol. So what does this mean? It means that people are stressed. That could be one reason why people are drinking alcohol that way. It could be due to a result of stress. Secondly, it could be that people are idle, people do not have what to do. And then thirdly, it could be due to other reasons, peer pressure. That is why alcohol is still very much being drinking among people, among the masses. So I believe the rate of alcohol consumption is very much high.
But is there any way that we can avoid peer pressure in any of the events in life? Is it there?
First of all, individual responsibility. It starts with you if you are to fight alcohol consumption. Frederick, I once lived in a place where everybody was drinking alcohol. I was the only one who was not drinking alcohol.
Okay.
And you know how difficult it was. These people tried influencing, but it was upon me to say no. So I believe, just like me, several other people are joining drinking alcohol due to peer pressure. But if you can avoid it, well and good, you can stop yourself from drinking alcohol. It's very possible, but many people do not believe that is actually possible.
True.
But why alcohol consumption is still going up? I just believe it is because of these reasons I earlier on hit it on. But I think one thing that people are still drinking alcohol very much in Uganda is because of stress. Okay. Stress, I think, is still very much among people. That is why alcohol consumption is very much within Uganda. Yeah.
So one of the shocking things that is said about this alcohol is that much as the media houses, really the general media has continued to really do much into discouraging people from consuming alcohol and also running messages to discourage people from excessive drinking and so on and so on. Really, this has not really curtailed the vice. This is one thing that is shocking. But maybe let's leave the issues to do the alcohol there. Let's dive into the issues of adultery and the issue to do with really, do we need a law to regulate this? Do we have really that heart of saying, no, this is somebody's wife, I should not date? Faris, what do you make of this? That really, if you don't have evidence, there should be no need of divorce, even if you have heard that your wife and somebody were together, they did this, and so on and so on. What do you make of that? Is there a need for us to start making a new law to regulate that? Does it mean we really need to keep everything just the way it is as of now? Yes. Frederick,
talking about the issue of adultery, I believe it has been there over the years. But bringing regulations maybe to curtail the issue, to me, will be of great importance. First of all, why do I say this? Adultery has always been there. But sleeping with somebody's wife is not allowed. Why do we need to legalize adultery? Why should we legalize it? That is another question we need to look up to. What does the religion say? And what are our customs saying? That is one thing we need to understand. First of all, this is my point of view. I think our cultures are all against this issue of adultery. Okay. What do they say? Adultery is not allowed.
It's not allowed. Even in the Bible, we all believe that.
All the religions, even Islam is saying
it's not allowed.
Christianity is saying it's not allowed. But now, if you were to marry more than 2 wives, polygamy, it is allowed. But when it comes to adultery, it is not allowed. Why is polygamy allowed? First of all, it is because of several reasons. But when it comes to adultery, it is condemned. First of all, you know the risk factors connected to the adultery if it is to be legalized. This is somebody's wife. Our cultures strongly condemn it, and the religions are also condemning against it. So I believe it is one thing that should never be legalized, and it will never be legalized. I think it will not even take place in Uganda because our cultures, first of all, we need to make an understanding of what our cultures are saying, our traditions. What do they say? What are they stating? So they are saying it is not allowed. And if we are to be promoting it now, Frederick, we shall be going against our customs. So I think that issue of adultery is never going to take place in Uganda, and it should never take place. And we should never even think of legalizing it at any point, because our cultures are strongly condemning it. And the religious books are also clearly stating it. They have never changed. So I think adultery is not allowed. This is because of the so many challenges it comes with. First of all, if we are to legalize adultery, it is going to promote the spread of HIV. Okay. It is going to promote several diseases, and it is going to promote disunity. We are going to be witnessing several conflicts. So I think that issue should never be legalized. But Frederick, I can confirm to you it is already taking place.
It is already happening. So what do we do? What do we do?
It is already happening.
If we are saying we are not legalizing it, what do we do?
One indication that it is already happening is the issue of DNA that has just been there over just some few weeks ago over the media. True. That is already a reflection that adultery is taking place. Because if you do not trust your wife, if you do not trust the children you have, if you do not think that these children you're having are yours, and if it is true that some of the children you have may not be yours, because we have seen cases whereby somebody takes out the children for DNA, but out of the 10, if the children are 10, you will find out that at least more than 3 are not for the husband. So what does that show? It shows that adultery is taking place already in the country. So I think there's still a lot that we need to do in terms of curtailing this issue of adultery, because if it's not controlled, we are going to be seeing more cases of families breaking up.
Okay.
So that is, I think, what I think.
If you look at the traditional perspective, in the Lugbara culture, we used to see that really, in case this kind of thing happens, there's a case of adultery, like somebody married my wife, there's no need for me to pay dowry. So it is that person to pay it. So that was one of the penalties that the cultural leaders had put. That means you'll be waiving off the burden that I was going to carry. But now in government, we saw in the recent past there was a tag of really people paying 200 shillings, and at some point it rose to 600 shillings, and this initial was scrapped off. What does that mean? It means adultery is something that the laws do not really go by, but people continue to practice it. And we have not seen really somebody implicated for that in the courts of law. So what has this done to the communities? We have seen so many conflicts coming up, and also really people going to take the laws into their hands, people killing other men, sometimes somebody really going with knife and hits the wife and so on. Those are things really we need to really control if we want to stay in peaceful manner. So if you take this in a local perspective, in Westnile here, we have seen so many cases happening. So we say that we leave it the way it is. What should we do? First, let's make it from there.
From the point of Islam, Islamic Sharia states it clearly. If you are caught evident doing adultery, you're supposed to be stoned to death. That is what Islam is saying. Wow. Yes, you're supposed to be stoned to death in public. People are supposed to be witnessing that. Whereby people are supposed to be picking stones and stone you till you die, and you are buried halfway. So what was the implication of this? It was to send warning to other people who would be doing the same. So I think if the laws are strengthened, I think that way we would also be seeing a reduction in the cases of adultery. But still, it goes to the people. Why would you admire somebody's wife, a wife that you know is married, is legally married, and to you, the women also? This goes back to you. You know you are married. Why do you go for these people that maybe you know are not married, and this is common with the sugar mummies? Some of them also are married, and then they go for these young boys. Why would you be doing this if you know that you married the right person?
Let me dissect a bit. Don't you think this is something that really people have done out of consensus? Don't you think people agree first and then they go for these things?
Yes, to some point we have seen.
Okay, how do we start penalizing such kind of people who are really doing that? You know, this issue of some people agreeing, it is to some extent. I do not think many people agree. It is to a lesser percentage, because we have seen people maybe who could not conceive. So they would agree with the wife, look for a child. If the child is there, we shall know that the person is mine. And this goes back to the families also. You know the rate of infertility that is common. So sometimes people are forced to do these things, not out of their will, but due to conditions and then due to societal judgment. So I think sometimes also this has contributed. It has really played a role in terms of escalating the cases of adultery in this country. Because we have seen this, Frederick. Somebody knows that he cannot conceive, but they agree with the wife. But we have seen these things backfiring also. After a small conflict, that is when you got to know these issues, that this so and so is not the child of this one. So we have seen those things coming up. So I believe it also goes back to the society. It also goes back to the people to look at it, that maybe if we are not supposed to be having this consensus, it will not yield. That is something that will not yield, because any child that does not belong to you will never be yours. This is where the issues of consensus has been coming in. Okay, we saw on Saturday that really the court ruled that if you have been not really caught and you are said to have done this, there should be no divorce if there's no evidence. Faris, do you agree with that ruling?
Talking about that ruling,
if your wife, maybe somebody has told you that your wife was cheating you, they were there seriously for this kind of act and so on and so on, Do you believe that really that is not enough and you could really move and hurt someone?
This ruling, just like the Islamic perspective, is very unfair. Because, Frederick, you know, one issue that people have always conflicted is, it is the rumors. It is suspicion. This is why most people have been conflicting. It results from suspicion and mistrust. So I think, how would you be living with somebody whom you mistrust in the house?
Okay.
For how long will you be? For how long will you be concentrating on these issues? Trust me, by all means, it will result into conflicts. You will be having fights, not because of the issues that maybe the court rulings, but due to the suspicions that you have been carrying on. If you suspect me to be cheating on, we have all known how, Frederick, you have been to relationships. You know how your wife has been reacting in terms of when she suspects you to be cheating out.
Yeah.
It is the same case now. If this ruling is saying that, what does it show? So I think at the end of the day, we are also going to be witnessing the same going up. It will result into other issues. It will result into other fights, because the environment is not friendly now. The environment is not good. The environment is not user-friendly to you. It's not good to contain you. So I believe that ruling is not called for. If people,
so we continue to say maybe suspicion, or maybe somebody has given you information. We should be really suspicious of it, and we take it a gospel truth to really pin one of the partners that we have.
You know, suspicions can be true or false. So it is upon you to first find out the evidence. It is you to look for the evidence, of which how are you going to get the evidence? Sometimes it is through the, Frederick, you know it, for you to get information, sometimes you need to use these means. You need to be suspicious of what it, first of all, if you're suspicious, it will encourage you to look to discover the truth. So how are you going to discover the truth? It is you now to go and look out for the right information if it is happening. How are you going to look for this? You're not going to misjudge me, because people may tell you lies about me. You do not know who I am. But if you take it upon yourself to first look out for the evidence, maybe at the end of the day you will get to know who I am in person, and then get the information that maybe you suspect I might be doing.
Okay, the viewer from us, Westnile Television, we're saying, really, please, can we really abide by what we agreed as partners? Can we say that this is my man, I will really live with him, and this is my wife, I don't think I should go somewhere? Can we really build that trust and really believe in one another and stay in marriages peacefully? That's all that we had prepared for you for this start of the week. And also up next we'll be having the news in Lubarati with Fete Emmanuel. We are out of the studios, and good day for now.